Hello, welcome back to another vocabulary lesson. Today I have a whole new list of words for us to go through and hopefully memorize and use in your everyday speech. So let's get started. This first word is someone who is skilled in telling stories. And that person is known as a raconteur. Raconteur. That night, he proved his reputation as a raconteur by keeping them on the edge of their seat for an hour and a half. Raconteur. This next word means a boisterous, carefree girl or a tomboy. And that word is hoyden. Hoyden. When she saw the old tree, her hoyden days came back to her and she started to climb. Hoyden. This next word means to surpass others in numbers, intensity, force, or prowess. So basically to pretty much be better than everybody else. And that is preponderate. Preponderate. They lacked the element of surprise, so their main advantage was their preponderant force. Preponderate. Or preponderate. This next word means a noxious atmosphere or influence, an unpleasant or unwholesome air. And that word is miasma. Miasma. After being empty for 5 years, the miasma from the dead rats in the cellar was overwhelming. Miasma. And our next word is the delusion that things are more beautiful than they really are. It's a useful word. And that is collapsia. Collapsia. Or collapsia. When it came to Betty, everyone agreed that Bill suffered from collapsia in a bad way. Collapsia. Now this word has a pretty simple definition to it. And that is simply next to last. So it is second place. Or something that follows the grand finale. I mean, it's right before the grand finale. And that is penultimate. Penultimate. It's not the ultimate, it's the penultimate. After the winning goal, the team celebrated their penultimate victory and looked forward to the finals. Penultimate. And this is another word that we don't hear very often, but what it describes we see a lot. And that is a word that describes the stretching that accompanies yawning. So that is called pendekulation. So when you're yawning and you stretch, that is pendekulation. The lamp sat on the edge of the table for 3 years until Steve's pendekulation knocked it off. Pendekulation. This next word is the word for a tightrope walker. So I don't know how often you'll get to use this, but it is a definitely interesting word. So someone who is a tightrope walker is a funambulist. Funambulist. And I always like this because you think of tightrope walkers being in the circus, and the word fun is right there in the word. Funambulist. The fortune teller told him that he would be a funambulist, not knowing that he was scared of heights. Now this word means an emotional thrill or a shudder of emotion. And that word is frisian. Frisian. At the end of Karina Burana, he always felt the thrill of frisian shoot through his body. Frisian. Now this next word is a great word to use for an insult, because the word means timid, faint-hearted, or cowardly. And you can sum all that up in one word: pusillanimous. Pusillanimous. Great word. When facing the angry pit bull on the playground, he turned into a pusillanimous coward and cried for his mommy. Pusillanimous. Now, if you call someone pusillanimous, you may experience from them this next word, which is the feeling of being offended. And there seems to be a lot of that goes around, whether real or imagined. And that word is umbrage. Umbrage. Pam felt that she was too focused on finding umbrage with what she was saying to be really listening. Umbrage. This next word is someone who studies flags. So just like you have words for people who collect stamps and collect coins and study all different types of things, if you study flags, you are a vexillologist. Vexillologist. When he died, his collection of old flags proved that he was an avid vexillologist. So here is yet another word that is very good to use as an insult, or to describe someone and have them not really know what you're saying. Because this word means someone who is a scoundrel. And that word is Bezonian. Bezonian. He said that if he were truly a Bezonian, he would not have turned around to help save Luke. Bezonian. This word means to flee and make off with, abscond or steal. Basically, pick something up and run away. And if you do that, It is absquatulate. Absquatulate. After his roommate left, he was tempted to absquatulate with the rent money and go to Vegas. Absquatulate. Here is yet another word to use if you are insulting someone. You should probably be able to string several of these together. This is describing someone who is dull, stupid, and clumsy. And that is the word gormless. Gormless. When he saw the gormless figure of his next-door neighbor over the fence, he would hide until she left. Gormless. Now, this is an interesting word that has very specific history behind it. And this word is the last name of someone that will take a house or a building of historical value and without proper knowledge of its authentic character will redecorate it or restore it. So the word means to remodel an old building without proper knowledge of its authentic character or remaining faithful to its original quality. And this word is Grimthorpe. Grimthorpe. Not the kind of thing you want associated with your name, but nevertheless, a baron in England named Grimthorpe. He took it upon himself, or he was commissioned to restore St. Albans Cathedral. And it was generally decided that he did a pretty bad job of it, including putting his own face as one of the apostles. So his name was associated with botching up a job of restoration. The historic house next door was never the same after his neighbors started to Grimthorpe it and added vinyl siding. Grimthorpe. This next word is someone who is an undistinguished imitator or a descendant from an illustrious person or family. And that is epigone. Epigone. They always thought he was a distant epigone until he inherited the family fortune. Epigone. Now, this next word is a great word to use to describe something or someone that is frenzied or agitated. And that word is Corrib Antic. Corrib Antic. The Corrib Antic scuffling of the dog at the front door let him know that it was time to let it outside. Corrib Antic. This next word is the worship of words. And if that describes you, and the word is Epi Allah Tree. Epi Allah Tree. After turning in his 30,000-page manuscript, the publisher told him to come back after he had cured his Epi Allah Tree. Epi Allah Tree. Now this word is a word that describes being clouded over, darkened, or obscure. And when I was researching this word, it specifically said that this word is archaic and out of use. So, I don't know what separates this from most of these other words, but this was specifically tagged as being obsolete, so it must be really old. So if you're describing something that is clouded over, darkened, or obscured, it is obnubilate. Obnubilate. They wanted to watch Venus cross the sun, but the storm began to obnubilate the sky, so they went inside. Obnubilate. Now this is a great word that, in addition to being very fun to say, is another great insult word. And this stands for a shrewd, unprincipled person. In addition to being able to call somebody this, you can have a great deal of fun calling them a Snallygaster. Snallygaster. She never believed her parents when they called her uncle a Snallygaster, but then he tricked her out of her life savings. Snallygaster. This word is an unscrupulously faithful follower, or a henchman. Someone who will do what he is told no matter what, even if it is something particularly evil. And that is a myrmidon. Myrmidon. The rapper entered the club, and his myrmidon forced everyone out the back door. Myrmidon. This next word is a nice cozy word, and it describes a nook beside the fireplace where people would sit and get warm. And that is an Inglenook. Inglenook. After his long voyage, it was good to see his family and the cat curled up in the Inglenook, keeping warm. And our last word is someone who is pretending to be ill in order to avoid work. And that is to malinger. Malinger. Knowing that her boss would think that she was trying to malinger, she made sure that she got a note from her doctor. Malinger. And that is all the words for today. I hope you have learned something and enjoyed them. And I hope you're able to use them to impress your friends and to increase your vocabulary and to be able to describe things in one word instead of taking maybe a sentence or two. So thank you for coming, and let me know how it goes with these words, and we'll see you next time. Thanks. Bye.